feel like I got Niners fans really wringing their hands. He's not ready. He's got mechanical issues. What's his deal? He was the right pick. Let me be real clear. The 49ers made the right pick at number 3. Now, I wouldn't necessarily have traded up to number 3. That's a different story. But once they got there, they made the right pick. That was the right pick. It wasn't Justin Fields. It wasn't Mac Jones. I think a lot of Niner fans are worried about Mac Jones right now because the reports out of New England are good.
They are. But I think that was to be expected. Again, I think that going into this, 49ers fans should brace themselves for the idea that, yes, most likely Mac Jones will look better at the start of his career than Trey Lance. And I think that you truly can't judge Trey Lance until you see him in game action. That raw talent, what he brings to the table, you've said this before on the show, truly doesn't jump off the page until you get him in live game action. Right. You have to see him with 260-pound dudes chasing after him, roll out, throw a dime down the field. That's where you're really the jaw's just gonna drop. And that's what happened for me when I saw his highlights. I mean, when I was looking through the 3 quarterbacks that it looked most likely pre-draft, I settled on Trey Lance as my pick. Thankfully, I was interviewed by the St. Francis News, a small publication in Burlingame run by these young nieces of mine, the young Schuhs. But I'm on record saying Trey Lance was my pick. And it was because of that raw talent that just jumped off the page.
Yes, absolutely. And it's like, the way I look at it is a part of him may want Mac Jones. I don't know what's going on with him. He may have 2 personalities. A part of him may want Mac Jones. And when he's watching, Trey Lance struggle with basic stuff, accuracy, whatever, you can say, man, Mac Jones be better at this. Mac Jones be better than 7-on-7. Fine. Oh, well. I think Kyle needs this kind of a quarterback. We've talked about it a lot, but I want to be real specific about it. Yeah. Kyle's had the stationary guy who executes. That's Mac Jones. I mean, Mac Jones, at best, is a super Kirk Cousins. You've had that. I think the way the NFL has evolved, he needs to acknowledge that he needs someone who gives him something off schedule. He needs it. Every team, unless you have Tom Brady, you need that. Yeah. And a story. And Mac Jones doesn't give you that. Trey Lance will. It's the off-schedule quarterback that he's never really had that he needs.
But he has watched off-schedule quarterbacks. I just was watching highlights of Jerry Rice on Deion Sanders. And so obviously that was Joe Montana and Steve Young throwing the ball. And first of all, oh my God, Jerry Rice. I mean, I just forget sometimes. I watched him my entire time growing up. He was my hero, my favorite 49er. But even I, one of his number 1 fans, forget how just ridiculous he was, but also how good those quarterbacks were throwing him the ball. They placed some dimes in the end zone over the top of Deion. Deion had blanket coverage and they just laid it in. But what jumped off the page again was the mobility. So I think growing up, Kyle watching, Joe Montana, who was underrated as far as athleticism goes, Steve Young, who obviously we know was athletic as all get out, and then John Elway in Denver. So I think that there's the inspiration of it. And finally, he has his hands on somebody he can mold like that.
Yes. And keep in mind, everyone, when I criticize Trey Lance and say, well, he's not quite as good as Jimmy Garoppolo, it's practice. And practice is basically executing from the pocket. There's no hitting. There's no pass rush. There's no second reaction off schedule plays. How do you do off schedule? You're not supposed to. You're supposed to execute the freaking play in practice. And where Trey Lance is going to show his superiority, what's going to make him special, what's going to allow him to take Kyle Shanahan's offense to the next level is the off-schedule stuff, the playground stuff, the stuff that Russell Wilson does, the stuff that Kyler Murray does. Because Kyle Shanahan's offense is great, but it's not perfect. Can't be right every time, and he knows that. I mean, he's lost 2 Super Bowls because he wasn't perfect, even though he was pretty good in them. So now he has a guy who can bail him out. And think about it from Robert Saleh's perspective. He was in that building too, and Robert Saleh has shut down Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers. He's done it. He did it last year to Drew Brees. He's done it to Rodgers multiple times. If he has that 4-man pass rush, he can just play 7 in a zone behind it, and a quarterback who can't move is screwed right there. I mean, there's so many ways to get creative against a quarterback who's stationary. Once that guy can break the pocket, all hell breaks loose. Robert Saleh a great coordinator like him has been humbled by guys like that. Kyle sees it. This is what every quarterback needs. So the whole Mac Jones thing, good luck, New England. He's going to tear it up in 7-on-7s, man. He's really going to tear it up. He's going to give you nothing when the play call isn't right. So you're going to have to really do some serious spying to make sure you get those signals correct and you know what the coverage is going to be. I'm sorry, don't demonetize me. I wasn't accusing the Patriots. I was just joking. It's for comic relief.
Just joking.
It was comic relief.
Yeah, we have watched what Russell Wilson can do as far as breaking our hearts for years on those off-schedule plays. It changes the game. It forced us to overpay a defender who has length like Eric Armstead because of what he can do within the offense against mobile quarterbacks, enforcing them out of the pocket, containing that the center of the line. It has changed what we need to do as a defense, having to play against mobile quarterbacks in 4 games out of the year every single year.
Yeah. So I think not ready right away, no problem. This is the right choice. They could have went with the same kind of quarterback they've had. Mac Jones can execute this offense better than Trey Lance. But I want the guy who can give me execution plus. It's not enough in 2021 to just stand in the pocket. You got to give a little bit more unless you're really the greatest quarterback of all time. Unless you're Phillip Rivers, Tom Brady. It's just there aren't many guys like that anymore. Maybe there will be a throwback guy. Maybe it'll be Mac Jones. Maybe it'll be Kyle Trask. But you got to be skeptical. I don't even think there is a pocket anymore. The idea of a pocket quarterback assumes that a pocket exists. And really that thing gets broken down so quickly in the NFL. You need a guy who can break a tackle, throw a guy off, run. And I know that this guy is going to be able to do that. He's never going to show it in practice. He won't. It's not the form. But once you see him in a game, it's going to be like, oh, it's been a while. It's been a while. It's going to be cool. But it's just going to have to. It's like buying a car and putting it. It's like buying a Stinger, right? And then putting it in the garage for a year. Like, oh, that's hard. That's really hard.
Yeah.
But you're rebuilding that engine. You know, it's not quite ready for you yet. It's going to be ready.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I mean, you brought it up. So I have to say, for the first time in my life, I saw a Stinger in person. I was at some credit union a couple of weeks ago, and this blue glint out of the corner of my eye just called to me. It called to me, Grant. It was beautiful. And I looked over and it was a Stinger. And I was like, holy moly, I almost just dropped.
Is that a Panamera? No. It's a Kia.
Oh, glorious.
Yes.
And so I instantly thought of you, snapped a shot of it, texted it over, and you were like, dude, that's it. That's the Stinger. And it had a CarMax sticker on there. It was, it was for sale. I think it was at the credit union because probably
it might have been me. I might have just been ducking you. Oh, no, it's not me. It's my brother.
You're like, no, I'm not important. No, I'm in the bay.
Yeah.
I figure it was probably actually getting bought at that time, or the manager of the CarMax was like, I'm taking the Stinger out for a ride.
Those cars are you don't see them very much. They don't sell. I bought my 2018. It was a 2018 with 9,000 miles on it, which means it had been sitting on the lot for a long time. And I got like for 15,000 under the sticker price. So yeah, if you want to get a Kia, man, they don't sell the Kia Stinger. Get that.
I would just say, as kudos to you, that 10 years ago, when I was about your age, I was just getting rid of a 1988 Cadillac DeVille that I had been rolling for a while. It had 12s in the trunk. It was like driving on a couch.
My God.
I mean, I met my wife in that car. She loved that car. She loved riding. It was so comfortable. It was like you could lounge in the front seat. You just kind of
that sounds fantastic.
A little bit. Oh, it was great. It
sounds wonderful.
I missed that car a little bit.
Well, that car would probably be Jimmy at this point.
Yeah, a little old and busted.
A little old and busted, but getting a little maybe bring it into exhibit, see what he can do with it. You know, he can put a fishbowl in the.
That's
you know what I'm saying? Yeah,
and super comfortable, and you should feel good in it. People like it. You know, it is Jimmy. It's comfortable.
People want us to stop talking about the Stinger. You're just jealous that